Right, welcome to Bergen in Norway. Coming in over these lovely lakes now, we're flying under Scandinavian, the call sign Scandinavian 34 Bravo for Bergen, B for Bergen, B for Bravo. We've got an ILS approach program, the ILS-35, or the Whiskey approach, which is a category C or D. Minimums are already in there. We've got 218 is the minimum radio height, and we've already got the approach phase activated. The aircraft seems to have done that automatically. So I'm going to set now the QNH, which is 977. So now we're going to drop well below our descent profile there. Probably should have done it earlier. This is the one part of Norway that isn't completely frozen over. I'm going to use auto brake low for the arrival. Let me just quickly check the takeoff run available. ENBR according to Mr. EasyJet Sim Pilot's thing. 2990 meters, so we shall be fine to use auto brake low. So we're coming now on our base leg, and I'm looking for the airport. We've got about 15 miles as the crow flies. We can descend actually to 2,000 feet now if we go with a visual approach. We have to maintain 2,000 or above until established on final approach. But I can't yet see the airport, so this is very likely going to turn into a visual approach. So you've got about 10 miles and then another 10 miles, so 20 track miles at 6,000 feet is about right. So basically just need to find the place. All the signs are on. We could bring the cabin in now already. That's armed. Predictive wind shear is on. Let's go through the checklist now. We've got an approach checklist. The barrow is set, seatbelts are on, minimum is set, auto brake set to low, and engine mode selected to approach. ECAM memo, recall, no blue. Landing checklist is complete, except for all of the things like putting the gear down and whatnot. So I'm still looking for the airport. Looking. Is that it there? Hope not, because it's not very far away. Or is it the other side of this mountain? Yeah. Let's get the visual approach chart up. So if I go quickly onto the visual approach chart, which I've got here, we should have a little peninsula poking out there. And that takes us to final approach. So yeah, that is the airport actually. So we're pretty much bang on. Given that now I've got the runway in sight, I'm just going to switch over to visual. That's for flaps 1. Bergen traffic, Scandinavian 34 Bravo turning long final visual approach runway 35. So it's a 3-degree glide path, I know that from the charts. We're going to aim for this little spit of land here, roughly. Hit that at around 2,000, if not higher. So 2,000 is what I'm actually allowed to go and descend below that, because I'm now breaking off from the instrument approach. Everything's set up, we're at 200 knots, and we can now put down flaps 2. Just got into that speed barrier there, so I'm just going to reduce the pitch just to counteract the effect of lowering that level of flaps. So there's the airport there, we've got the runway in sight now. Just going to keep coming down nicely, so probably go a little bit further, 1,000 feet per minute or so. I think that's 1 red, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, there's our 2 reds and 2 whites, so I'm just going to reduce to round about 5-degree descent profile. Just going to look out the side window. This is the equivalent of me moving my head around going, where's that blooming runway? So you can put flaps 3 in now. We've got about 9 miles to go, so no rush yet. Still looking all good. I can turn off the flight directors too. So there's our final approach path. We're just going to do a little bit of skimming around to adjust. We've got 145 knots, so times by 5 gives us our descent rate there. So that's going to be 500 plus another 40 times 5 is 200, so 700 feet per minute as normal. So around about 700 feet per minute for a nice free degree glide path. We're coming in now. We can do flaps full, 7 miles to go, so we've got a fully stabilised approach now. And again, as we put in the layer of flaps, we get a little bit of extra bump upwards, so just pushing the nose down slightly to adjust that. We're going to come in at around 2.5 degrees nose up pitch, which is fine. We're set up for the landing now, we just don't have the gear down yet, so that's coming down now. Wind is 342 at 13, coming from nearly straight ahead. The runway heading is 350 roughly. So okay, now we're on final. I'm just going to hopefully maintain this approach, it's looking very nice, hand flying. So it's very possible to do a nice hand flown approach in this. Not actually using the... well, that's the wrong way round. That's the right way round, if you know what I'm talking about. So there, the PAPI light's just about visible now. We've got 5 mile final. Apparently that's realistic. I will tell you once I actually start flying for real. So the thing about visual approaches is we're not going for 10 mile finals. Usually going for a much shorter final anyway, so it's not too much of a bother. You don't need the PAPI all the way at 10 miles. It's just great for stability on an ILS approach in instrument conditions when you kind of don't necessarily have the concentration to be fooling around with stabilising an approach. There you go, it's still going okay, a little bit high, so just pushing the nose in. Airbus does the rest. In real life it'd take a bit of fuel out, not fuel, a bit of propeller out. So there's our second one again, so pulling back up to 700 feet per minute and then maintaining it. It's gone again. No, it's still there. We've kind of got flashing light there by the looks of it, so we're kind of just above the approach, which is okay. Rather a tiny bit too high than a bit too low. If we run out of energy too low, there's not much you can do about it. Water brake set to low, flaps full, gear is down, 3 greens. There's the third one. Spoilers armed. Cabin crews alerted.
1000.
Bergen traffic, Scandinavian 34 Bravo, short final, runway 35. That's all set. Now switching over to the visual way of doing things, which is to just aim my eyes at the, basically roughly in line with the PAPI lighting, and then adjust the frame of my vision so that I'm basically framing that in the window. And I'm trying to keep it at the same position constantly. So I'm not looking at the landing rate or the instruments anymore, I'm flying entirely off the visuals, because I know the visuals look good. It's just about holding that particular visual picture at this point. So I can probably do a little bit less descent rate.
500.
Says he, having said he's just looking at the thing, but you can tell when you start now, it's starting to go a bit too high now.
400. 100 above.
A bit too low.
300.
Pulling it back up. We're looking good. We've got an extended threshold, so there's no huge worries about landing a bit soon. Continue.
100.
Hey, what was that? Ding, ding, ding.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Touchdown. The reverses. Some nice airport terrain here in Bergen. Reverse screen decel. 80 knots. Disengage the reverse thrust. Let's just try and brake off. There you go, I managed to get that exit there. By coming to a complete stop, that would have shocked a few passengers, no doubt, no doubt. Bergen scenery from Flight Sim TO, so there's a bit of something going on. Obviously the textures are not up to amazing payware standards, but it's a much better representation than the original. Got a bit of snow on the ground. Not sure how realistic that is. I don't live in Norway, so I can't tell you. I can tell you that the snow on the ground in Innsbruck is absolutely nonsensical. There is no snow. I'm wondering where we should go next. Bring up all the flaps. There's the flaps coming up now. Let's look to the left. I'm going to take another. Let's go right here. And then we'll turn right onto this one. And then we've got the. Let's take stand 27 or something over there. They look nice. Good stands. They've got jetways and all that. We don't want to go to the EasyJet terminal here. You know, Scandinavian Airlines got a reputation to uphold. Avinor, Norwegian Aviation, Bergen of Flesland. This may well be the international terminal, but no problem. Hopefully that's roughly in line, because this thing will only go onto the particular door, if at all. We've got external power there, so off with the landing lights, beacons and engines. There's a bit of adjustment there, but in reality this will just be up and down and a tiny bit of left and right from there. So the goal is to park as close as you can. That looks okay. There we go, welcome to Bergen.